welcome back to my channel. I'm Tammicia and happy Sunday to you. So if you guys are like anything like my family, you have been eating Thanksgiving food for 4 days now and you're probably sick of it at this point. So what I'm going to do is show you a quick and easy way to finish up the rest of your turkey and make it into something that is healthy and flavorful and a little bit lighter on your stomach from eating heavy Thanksgiving food for the past 4 days. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a stock that I'm going to use in a soup later on with our remaining leftover turkey carcass. So this is the carcass. I broke it down so that it would fit into my pot, but it still has turkey on it. It still has the onions and all of the garlic and everything that I roasted the turkey with. It still has all of that good gelatinous stuff that, you know, solidifies once your turkey gets cold. So we're going to use our turkey and we're going to make a nice, rich, flavorful broth out of it. It's going to simmer for about 4 hours, and I'm going to show you how to take your leftover turkey and make a healthy broth that you can freeze to use later on to make soup out of. You can add it into dishes, whatever it is that you want to do. I'm actually going to make a soup out of this later on for my family. So to get started, you're going to need a large pot. Just get the largest pot that you have. You're going to need your leftover turkey carcass. We're also going to use some fresh vegetables. We're going to use our celery that I've rough chopped, white onion, our carrots. I have garlic cloves, a bunch of parsley, and then right here is our seasonings that we're going to use. I have lemon pepper, poultry seasoning, peppercorns, black peppercorns, salt, garlic powder, onion powder, and Italian seasoning. So let's get started. Alright, so to get started, I have my pot on a medium-low heat, and I already sprayed it with some olive oil in the bottom of the pan. We're going to get started by adding our vegetables into our pot. We get our onions in here, and our celery. Get our carrots in, and our fresh garlic. I'm going to save this parsley for just a little bit later after I get my turkey in. And this combination is called a mirepoix, and it smells so good. You're just using your root vegetables to create a nice layer of flavor for your soup, or your broth that we're going to turn into our soup. Alright, so all of our vegetables are in, and we're just going to put everything into our pot. We're going to start adding in our turkey, and you may have to break it down as best as you can, just as long as you can get everything to fit into your pot. Okay, and we're going to use every bit of it, including this is all of the bits from the bottom of the pan. That's where all of that flavor is, so we're not going to lose any of that. Alright, so let me get my hands washed, and then we're going to add our spices. Alright, so we have all of our turkey in our pan, and what I did was I put some water in it just to until you actually cover your turkey up. This will be a lot easier if you had one of those super large stock pots, but this is going to cook down some, and then we'll add a little bit more water into it. So now what we're going to do is add in our spices, and just to go back over that again, I have garlic powder, onion powder, Italian seasoning, salt, black peppercorn, lemon pepper, and poultry seasoning, and I have 2 teaspoons of each. So we're just going to get all of that in. And like I said, this will be so much easier if you had a bigger stock pot, because it will be a lot easier to get down in here and mix it up, but it's okay because it's going to come up to a nice boil, and then it's going to simmer for about 3 to 4 hours. So trust me, all of those spices and seasoning are going to get nice and incorporated into our stock. And this would be so perfect if you have someone in your house that was sick, because the broth is full of so many nutrients from the bones, and you have the meat, and then as well as all of your fresh vegetables in here. So this would be a nice pick-me-up for somebody who has a cold. This is a perfect time of year for this. And like I said, I'm going to immediately make this into a soup with some egg noodles and as well as the turkey meat. But you can strain all of this off and put them in maybe like a freezer, gallon size freezer bags, and freeze them, or into the Tupperware containers and put them in the freezer, and just pull them out and use whatever you need for whatever recipes you need a stock for. Okay, so the last thing we're going to add in to our pot is a handful of fresh parsley, and that's just going to just push it down in there the best way you can. All right, so I'm going to let this come up to a boil, and then once it starts to boil, actually let me turn it up a little bit higher. We'll let it come up to a boil, and once we get to a boil, I'm going to reduce our heat and let it simmer for about maybe 3 to 3.5 hours, just depending on how it's looking throughout the cooking process. So I'll show you guys once it comes to a boil. All right, guys, so here is our turkey broth. It is up at a nice boil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this down to a low simmer and let it go for about 3.5 hours, just depending on how it looks throughout the cooking process. And once it's done, this is going to be so perfect for some soup. And what I'm going to do when it's all finished is I'm going to strain this completely and take out all the bones and all of the vegetables and everything, and we're going to use the broth, and we're going to use all of the chicken that's going to fall off of the bones while it's simmering. And then I'm going to cut some fresh vegetables and use my egg noodles and bring all of this back together as a nice soup for my family. So of Thanksgiving food, and you just want to go a little bit lighter on your stomach, going forward after Thanksgiving, this is a perfect way to do it without having to waste any of your Thanksgiving turkey. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next Sunday. Take care.